So this is some word problems that we're going to make into equations. So we've got an admission fee to a fair is $1.50 for children, $4 for adults. They sold 2,200 tickets and they made $5,050 at the end of the day. In order to focus advertising for the fair and find out where you are making the most money, you will want to know how many children and how many adults attended. So we're going to write out the equation for children. The first equation we're going to do is going to have the money in it. So here we've got $1.50 for kids, and then we've got $4 for adults. So that means that I've got, well, if I have let's say I've got 6 adults coming to the fair, well, what I would do is I'd times $4 with my 6 adults, and those adults would have paid $24 total. So on here, I'm going to be multiplying the 4 with how many adults, and I'm going to be multiplying 150 with how many children. So I'm going to use C is the number of kids, of children, and A is the number of adults. So I'm going to have $1.50 per child, so times C, plus $4 per adult, so times A, equals $5,050. So I've got money plus money equal to money. And then also for the second equation, so because I have 2 unknowns, I've got a C and an A, I've got 2 things I don't know, then I have to have 2 equations, and this 2,200 tickets is going to help me with that. So because C represents the number of children, or the tickets of children, and A represents the number of adults, or tickets of adults, I'm going to have tickets, children tickets, plus adult tickets equals total tickets. And then I can solve this any way I want to. It looks probably the easiest way to solve this would be to use substitution. So if we use substitution, then I'd have to minus the A, minus A, and I would get C is equal to 2,200 minus A. So then from there, I'd be plugging that in for C, and I would have, I need some more room, so I'm going to just white this out up here so I can write up there. So now we've got 150 parentheses, we're plugging in 2,200 minus A and plus 4A equals 5,050. Okay, so we're going to distribute 150. Okay, so I've distributed, and now negative 1.5 plus 4, I'm combining like terms, so negative 1.5 plus 4 is 2.5A, and then plus 3,300 equals 50/50, minus 3,300, minus 3,300, and I got 2.5A equal to 50/50 minus 3,300 is 1,750. And then I divide out 2.5. So we're going to divide 2.5 here. Divide 2.5. So 1750 divided by 2.5 is, A is 700. That means there were 700 adults that went to the fair. So 700 adults attending the fair. So if there's 700 adults, well then how many children would that be? Well, there's a total of 2,200 tickets sold, and we could just put 700 right here. So we've got C equals 2,200 minus 700 to figure out our children. So 2,200 minus 700 is 1,500. So the number of children going is 1,500 children. Childs. So the fair is getting a lot of kids compared to adults. Okay, and this one, your teacher is giving you a test worth 100 points containing 40 questions. There are 2-point and 4-point questions on the test. How many of each type of question are on the test? So first, we're going to do points and points equal the total points. So if each question, well, what we want to know here, let's first decide how many of each type of question are on the test. So let's use X for a number of 2-point questions. And we're going to use Y for the number of 4-point questions. So that would mean if we have 10 2-point questions, then they would be worth a total of 20 points because I times them. So I'm going to take my 2 points, times it by the number of questions, plus my 4 points, times it by the number of questions, and I'm going to equal the total number of points for the test. And my second, I need 2 equations if I have 2 unknowns. So I also know that there's 40 questions. Remember, X is number of questions, Y is number of questions. So if I take my questions, my number of 2-point questions plus the number of 4-point questions, I'm going to get equal to the total number of questions on the test. So here's my 2 equations. I'm going to solve this one with elimination, just to switch it up. So I've got a 1 here and a 1 here, so I've got 2 and 1, 4 and 1. I need them to be the same. I'm going to times the bottom by 2 because that seems to be the easiest thing to do, which would mean I'm timesing the top by 1, but that's not going to change it. So I've got 2x plus 4y equals 100, and I've got 2x plus 2y equals 80. So now from here, if we're looking, we've got 2 and 2, but again, one of them needs to be negative if we're going to be able to solve this and get 0. So I need my 0, so positive 2 and negative 2 is going to be 0. I change this to a negative, change that to a negative. So we got 0, 4 plus negative 2 makes positive 2. I'm going to write this up here. So positive 2y equals 100 and negative 80 make 20. And then just divide out the 2. So y equals 10. And what that really means is there's 10 questions that are worth 4 points. So 10 questions worth 4 points on the test. Well, we know there's 40 questions total, so there has to be 30 questions worth 2 points. So that would be our x if we are using the variables. So Tyler is catering a banquet for 250 people. Each person will be served either a chicken dish or a beef dish. Tyler spent $1,500. So, again, let's do money and money and money. So 5 times the amount of chicken plates plus 7 times the amount of beef plates equals the total amount of money spent. Well, if there's 250 people and each person is getting a chicken or a beef plate, then we've got the number of people getting chicken plates plus the number of people ordering beef is equal to the total amount of people that went to the banquet. And I'm not going to solve this. All I did is just set them up, and we could use elimination, substitution to solve it. All right, on this one, Brody's Gourmet Pretzel Shop specializes in selling chocolates and pretzels. Banky bought 4 white pretzels and 6 dark chocolate pretzels for $10.50. Holden bought 8 white chocolate and 3 dark chocolate for $9.75. So what we've got 4 times the white chocolate pretzels plus 6 times dark chocolate equals our total amount of money at $10.50. So the W really represents the price of the white chocolate, and this is the price of the dark chocolate. So then our second equation for Holden, he bought 8 times the price of the white chocolate, and then it's a 3, so 3 times the price of the dark chocolate is equal to the total amount of money spent. And then, yes, we could solve this. The easiest way to solve this, if you're thinking about solving it, would be to times the bottom by 2, because if you notice, 3 times 2 will give us the 6. If you can't quite see that, that's okay. You could times the bottom by 6 and the top by 3, and then find out what you have from there. On this one, you would actually have to change one of the equations to have change signs on one of them, because these are both positive. So we would need one of them to be negative. All right, the Math Club and Science Club had a fundraiser to buy supplies for a hospice. The Math Club spent $135 buying 6 cases of juice and 1 case of bottled water. The Science Club spent $110 for 4 cases of juice and 2 cases of bottled water. So we've got 6 cases times the price of the juice plus 1 case of water times the price of the water is equal to the total amount spent. And then 4 times the price of the case of juice plus 2 times the price of the case of bottled water is equal to the total amount of money spent. And then again, yes, we could go through, times it, right, because we don't have the same numbers. And I'm going to use 1 and 2, so I times the top by 2 and bottom by 1 and go from there. I'm just setting it up, and that's all I'm going to do there. You have bought supplies for a party, 3 rolls of streamers, 15 party hats. Cost you $30. 2 rolls, 4 party hats. Cost you $11. So 3 times the price of the streamers, I should say. So S plus 15 times the price of the hat equals 30. 2 times the price of streamers plus 4 times the price of a hat is 11. And those are the setups for that one.